So in yoga, we have these teachings that are called the 9 hindrances. So if you're taking a seat right now and cultivating appreciation, you're at the same time, you're surrendering these 9 hindrances. So for example, apathy is one of the hindrances. You have arrived, so give yourself appreciation and dispel apathy. Also, carelessness or negligence is one of the hindrances. You have arrived, so you are not right now practicing carelessness with yourself. You are not neglecting yourself. We also have a hindrance called vacillation, or this sort of anxiety between two things, vacillation. Since you have decided to be here, you're not now vacillating. There's a hindrance called self-doubt. And so even if you've come with self-doubt, you can sit in appreciation and invite self-doubt to move aside or to go overboard. Give it back to the ocean, which can handle it. Yeah, so welcome everyone. We just know how important yoga is for healing and recovery. So let's take a seat. You have arrived. Sit so that you have support under your pelvis and you feel like this is a good base for stability. So you can sit in what's called a tripod base, where the knees and the hips make a tripod. You also are welcome to cross the ankles like this, if that's more comfortable for you. Or you could even do a kneeling position or start seated in a chair. The idea is to start from a stable base. So rest your hands in your lap. You're welcome to close your eyes. And start with a round of appreciation for yourself that you have arrived. You've made a commitment to yourself. You've been able to be here. And there were several steps along the way to make this happen. As you appreciate yourself for these efforts, at the same time, let that appreciation rise up, and you can surrender or toss overboard the judgments or criticisms or any sense of shame or condescension, whatever might be like filtering into the area of the mind. Let that go overboard as you bring in appreciation for yourself. So in yoga, we have these teachings that are called the 9 hindrances. So if you're taking a seat right now and cultivating appreciation, you're at the same time, you're surrendering these 9 hindrances. So for example, apathy is one of the hindrances. You have arrived, so give yourself appreciation and dispel apathy. Also, carelessness or negligence is one of the hindrances. You have arrived, so you are not right now practicing carelessness with yourself. You are not neglecting yourself. We also have a hindrance called vacillation, or this sort of anxiety between two things, vacillation. Since you have decided to be here, you're not now vacillating. There's a hindrance called self-doubt. And so even if you've come with self-doubt, you can sit in appreciation and invite self-doubt to move aside or to go overboard. Give it back to the ocean, which can handle it. Let's bring the hands together at the heart. And with appreciation for your skill in action to arrive here, you can bow your head to your heart. And release your hands and open your eyes. So in yoga, we do have these teachings on the 9 hindrances. And those hindrances aren't children and bosses and schedules and household chores. The hindrances are things like self-doubt or vacillation about your self-care. Can I do it? Can I not do it? Will my schedule let me do it? Also hindrances of carelessness or neglect. Like if we're careless with ourselves or our practice, if we're neglecting ourselves or our practice, those are considered hindrances to our progress. We also have hindrances called overindulgence. So for example, maybe we've been overindulging in work or in doing things for other people and not for ourselves, or overindulging in food or other kinds of numbing behaviors. And then we want to go to yoga practice, but we feel too numb or too tired or not good enough to be in yoga practice. And by the way, there's no particular standard for how you have to be to arrive for your yoga practice. You come as you are. So yoga is the process of overcoming those hindrances and then also remembering who we actually are in our deepest essence. So thanks for joining me for class today. Okay, let's begin with a restorative practice because it's in the afternoon that we're having this session. And it's nice to give the cortisol a chance to balance out. I'm going to ask you to take your blankets, whatever kind of blanket you have, make it about this size, and then fold it length to length twice. So it's a long folded blanket like this. Take the second one and do the same. Okay, and then place these across your mat horizontally. And make a little space between the 2 blankets because your arms are going to go through there. We're going to be lying on the back. So as you come down, sit on your hips and lie back so that your shoulder blades are on the first blanket and your head is on the second blanket. And the arms go in a T shape in between the 2 blankets. Go ahead and keep your knees bent. Of course, if you prefer to take the legs out straight, you're welcome to do that as well. It's optional. For some people, keeping the knees bent means you have an easier time navigating the pelvic tilt that helps your lower back to feel comfortable and supported. You want the blanket under the shoulder blades to be such that the sternum is the high point in this little back bend. So now breathe down low into the abdomen, inhaling the attitude of appreciation for yourself. And when you exhale, invite your shoulders to get heavy towards the floor. And release the burdens you've been carrying in your neck and your shoulders, your upper back, or your heart. So as you lower the shoulders as they release what they've been carrying, let them drop down towards the floor. And keep the breath moving into the lower abdomen. You could imagine that the breath is an inhale for appreciation of yourself and the exhale to release the pressures or again the burdens or the things you've been carrying in your shoulders. To support that release in the neck and shoulders and upper back, try deeply relaxing your tongue. Surrender the hinge of your jaw. And where you're able to, invite your throat to be deeply relaxed as well. And soften the muscles of your face, including the corners of your eyes. Deeply relax your eyes and the entirety of your forehead. Keeping a sense of relaxation to the extent possible, keeping that relaxation in your heart. Please roll to your side. As you roll to your side, come up for a moment and we're going to stack the two blankets. So if you'll take them and stack them really comfortably and securely so you don't have any lumps and the blankets are firmly set. Then we're going to lie over the blanket so that you'll place your left shoulder blade on the side of the blanket and use your left arm to support your head. So there is a little curve to the torso here. We're going to take the right arm overhead, and you might sense the stretch down the right hemisphere of the torso. If your left arm is not enough to support your head, go ahead and use another blanket or a small pillow. But I do want your head and your shoulder to drop down a little bit lower than your heart. So there's like a little mountain range right here, a little rise. Reach through your right arm and breathe down through the right hemisphere of the torso. And as you're breathing like this, again, inhale this sense of appreciation for yourself. You've made a commitment to practice yoga, to take care of your body, your mind, your heart. And exhale to release whatever hindrances have been present for you. Those are also called obstacles in the teachings of yoga. So we're releasing those things. Whatever seems like it intrudes on you or dissuades you from your practice or keeps you in the rabbit trails of the mind. Let that release during the exhale. With your next inhale, raise your right arm straight up towards the ceiling and then let it come down. You place your right hand on the blanket, rise up, and we'll switch the knees to the other side. So lie on your right side and use your right arm as a pillow for your head. Let there be a little arc down towards the floor so the left rib cage is open. And then sweep your left arm overhead. And as you breathe in, lengthen the left side torso. Fill the inner body with a sense of appreciation. And as you breathe in, allow the release of the burdens, the obstacles, the hindrances. And right now, you aren't only this is a time for taking refuge from those difficulties. And one more breath in. And with your next inhale, raise your left arm straight up towards the ceiling and then lower it down. Now place both hands again, left hand on the blankets, right hand on the blankets. And notice that you have a stack of 2 blankets. So you may want to have a block at the ready. We're going to turn around, lie backwards, and go over both blankets. Now, if possible, reach your arms overhead to cross your wrists behind your head. Your fingers can point towards the opposite shoulder. And let the weight of your head support your arms and shoulders and elbows to go towards a back bend over the back side of your blanket. Now stretch the elbows towards the wall behind you Lengthen and open the sides of the waist. And then gently place your head either on the floor or on a block if the floor is too far back. And reach both arms overhead, hook your thumbs. And as you lengthen your arms, now also lengthen your legs. As you're reaching back like this, it's okay for the chin to open a little bit away from the throat, especially if you have a habit of looking down a lot because you're looking at your phone or maybe your computer or your keyboard. Allow the throat to open slightly here. Okay, now breathing in. And exhale, release both arms. Take them out into a T shape. The block is for anybody for whom you feel like your head is too far back. You can use the block to support your head. Now the blanket is still, the high point of the blanket is right under the sternum. So we don't scoot down or off the blanket to make this more comfortable for the head. If you need support, you're going to raise your head up on your blanket. We want the high point of the heart like that because the openness for the upper chest and shoulders is really helpful. You also get some opening to the throat. And so again, let's breathe in this deep appreciation. Even if you're having to practice appreciation because you've been in a shame storm, try it on that you can breathe in and appreciate yourself for being here. And exhale deeply. And now let's do this. Please hold your head with your right hand. Raise your head up. Cross the left arm behind your head so the left hand goes towards the right shoulder. And now take your right hand overhead to hold your left elbow. And open the left shoulder, left chest. So we're going to lay that back over the blanket. Your head can be supported by your left forearm. Enjoy a deep breath in. Imagine that you're shedding, like you're shedding layers of the sense of burden or hindrance. So right now you're on your yoga mat, and this is your time for healing. And switch sides with the two arms. So what you can do is inhale, raise your head up, hold your head with your left hand, take the right arm, forearm behind you, reach across and hold your left elbow with your right hand, and then lay back once more over the two blankets. You can support your head with your arms, allow the throat to open. When we open the upper chest and shoulders like this, and even the throat, we are essentially and neurologically releasing the burden of constant sympathetic nervous system arousal, or even releasing the difficulty of a dorsal vagal nervous system arousal. So think of this as a treatment for your nervous system, as a nourishment for your well-being. It's not just that you're stretching your muscles. Let's breathe in one more time. And then raise your head. Use your hands to support your head. Bend your knees. Roll to your side. And come back up to sitting. And as you come up to sit, I had to move my hair clips, so I got to tie my hair back once more. But as you come up to sit, notice what's happening in your breathing, in your shoulders, in your neck, maybe even in your mind. Like, how are things different? Okay, let's take these two blankets and save them. We get to use them again. And now come to table pose, please. And in table pose, place your knees just a couple inches back behind your hips. Lift the base of your skull. Lengthen your spine and broaden the back of your body. Press firmly down with both hands and arms. And just sense the strength that your body has inherently. This strength of appreciation is something that can turn into confidence or self-advocacy. So from appreciation into strength, breathe in. And then exhale, press down against the floor, giving yourself the firmness of support. And then step your right hand well forward of your left hand. Bring your hips back, but not all the way to your heels. Lower your left elbow to the floor. Relax the weight of your head, and then turn your head to your left. So with the right arm out in front, when we lower the head, we then turn to the left to stretch the neck. Enjoy a deep breath in. Exhale completely. And then inhale and raise up to table pose. Place your right palm under your right shoulder. Take the left hand well forward of your right hand and lower your right elbow down. Relax the weight of your head and turn it to your right. So it's not the case that everyone's going to find that their head reaches the floor. It's a matter of your height, your body proportions, the length of your arm, but mostly the flexibility of your upper back and your shoulders. So as you breathe in, don't aim for your head to touch the floor like mine is doing unless there's a natural capacity for that. With your next inhale, press into your right arm. Use the strength of your body to return to table pose. And then open the knees apart a little bit. Touch the big toes together and reach back to child's pose. Let's relax the weight of the head and the actions of the arms. And imagine that the stress or the tension is washing off of the upper back, the neck, and the shoulders. And therefore, this inner appreciation of yourself can actually go deeper. And then walk your hands back towards your knees and press up to kneeling. Okay, we're going to take 2 blocks now and place them on the mat like this. Place them up on the medium setting so your blocks are stable here. The tall setting is not that stable, but the medium setting is quite stable. The flat setting is going to be a little bit too low. So go for the medium setting, and you're going to be placing the back of your elbow on the centers of the blocks there. When we do that, start at the center because we want the block to be stable for the action we're going to be doing. Put the palms together like this, and then tip backwards until you have the back of the upper arm and the elbow, they stay on the blocks, and your hands go over your head. You can relax the weight of your head down, whatever amount your shoulders are comfortable with. And as you reach back with your hips, lengthen the rib cage, almost like you're opening up a slinky or you're opening the Venetian blinds. And once more, let's imagine that stress or tension, the feeling of over-responsibility, or let's say self-neglect, or as I said earlier, carelessness or self-doubt or vacillation, all of that gets to wash away from the upper back. And then press down into your elbows, raise yourself up. Now scooch onto your elbows on the blocks, but place them now so that your elbows are on the very sort of front edge of the blocks, and the palms are going to go face up like this. This is table pose with the 2 blocks. Inhale and broaden the back of your body like you're doing cat pose. And then exhale, raise your sitting bones, bring the spine through to cow pose, bring your chest and heart forward and open your throat.
So from this position, we're going to do it a couple times where you undulate the spine into cat pose and cow pose. See if when you get here into the cat pose, can you open the throat and the heart? And then we're going to inhale to cat pose. And exhale to cow pose. And then inhale to cat pose. Broaden the back body like a parachute. And exhale to cow pose. Now I'd like you to pause here and decide for yourself, how far back do you walk the knees when you bring the chest and heart forward? And we're going to come into what's called Sphinx pose. Put the palms together, press down against your elbows, against the blocks, raise your chest and heart, and open the throat. It's important to energize the legs so you feel like the body, the lower hemisphere of your body is stable and grounded. So press down with the tops of your feet, anchor your shins, anchor your knees, raise your heart, open the throat. And then press down through both knees and both elbows. Raise your chest and heart up. Walk the knees in so you're going to be more comfortable. And then sit back to kneeling. You might choose to sit on one block or to just come directly to your knees. And your hips can go to your heels. Rest your hands in your lap. And notice what's happening now in terms of the balance between appreciation of yourself and that sense of the hindrances or the obstacles or the burdens. Where are you now? Okay, now we're going to take these 2 blocks and let's come down. Please lie on your back. To get my bearings here. The sun is coming in through that window, so I'm going to turn myself to face this way. Hopefully that will be washed out. It's wonderful to have the sun come through a window. I'm not complaining. I just want to make sure you can still see me. Yeah, it's very bright. So when you lie down, it's funny. I was just saying before we started the class, oh, it's a little bit cooler today and a little bit cloudy, so how nice. Which is just relief for us here in Portland, Oregon, having come through a heat wave. Okay, as you lie down, you've got the 2 blocks nearby. Go ahead and keep them nearby. You don't need them at the moment. Cross your right ankle over your left knee. Level your hips here and press the right knee away from the torso. You could gently include your hand for that. And bring the breath down into the lower belly, inviting this deep inner sense of appreciation. And I know that that can be very hard to consider if you're caught in a shame storm. How do you come into appreciation? And we have to get there often through a measure of kindness to the body and a willingness not to punish ourselves or to burden ourselves, particularly when we know that through hunger, hope, and healing, that kind of punishment or burden it's like an extra amount of weight on the psyche, the mind, and the body. Place your right foot down. Cross your left ankle over your right knee. Place your white cat on your black clothing. And then take the left hand to give a little support to your left knee. Hi, Nakula. It's perfect timing. I'm wearing a black shirt. Perfect. Now, as you're breathing in and breathing out through the nose, So let the breath come down through whatever tension or residue's been in your body, and let the breath make its way into the pelvis. Okay, there you go, Nicola. Thank you. Now let's cross the right ankle, place the left foot down, cross the right ankle one more time. And this time pick up your left knee and reach your right hand through the two legs and the left hand around the outside and come into what we call the figure four pose. So stretching into your right hip. Now sometimes this is a difficult position to hold, like there's a lot of sensation in the hip, or it's hard to reach the hands to get all the way behind the left knee or the left thigh. That's very understandable. And so what you would do instead is you can hold the right ankle with your right hand and your left hand, and you could put the left foot up on the sofa, the wall, the bed, the door frame. You could put it up on the edge of the dining room table or the leg of the piano, whatever is there to give support to your left leg. And as you're breathing into the right hip, imagine again on the exhale, releasing. So the obstacles include also that we perceive ourselves as regressing, or we perceive ourselves wrongly. We misperceive our efforts, our worth, our capacity. And so aim to see yourself really clearly in these moments. You're on your yoga mat, making an effort to support your health, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. And we're going to exhale and place the left foot back on the floor. Touch your right foot down. And then cross your left ankle over your right knee. Pick up the right knee and either reach between with one hand, the left hand, and around with the right hand. You okay, Nakula? Yes, fine. Now, if it's hard to reach between the legs for any reason, could be you have a very stiff hip or you don't have very long arms, whatever it might be, you again could hold your left ankle and your right foot with your hands, and you could place the right foot up on a support system. The bed, the wall, the piano, whatever it is. Gently breathing in and gently breathing out. And start imagining what would it be like if you had more consistent access to appreciation for yourself and less often kind of getting into the shame channel or the self-critical channel. What might it be like to more consistently appreciate or to have access to appreciation? And I'm talking about unconditional appreciation, like really seeing yourself as worthy of appreciation. Maybe you exhale, touch your right foot down, then your left foot. Now, one reason I'm saying that also in Hunger, Hope, and Healing here is that I have just worked with so many women for whom the appreciation flowing towards them has not been very strong. The acknowledgement, the experience of being seen, you know, in all these ways, appreciation has been kind of like a deficit, like it's anemic. So we are trying on the experience of being appreciated by ourselves and then being able to bias appreciation versus shame. So now we have the two blocks here, and I'd like you to take the two blocks like this. Lift your hips and place the two blocks on a little triangle like so. So they're going to be on the flat setting. So you pick up You put your hips on the block so that the edge of the blocks are at the edges of the sacrum. So when you pick up your knees and shins, it should be such that you are on the blocks firmly. If the blocks are not sliding away, the blocks support your sacrum and the back of your thigh bones. And there's maybe a little feeling of a massage happening right there. And then let the knees come in towards your chest. Your legs are elevated, so the knees are going to have an easier time coming in. You could hold the knees. They can come each one towards the opposite, each one towards its own shoulder, not the opposite shoulder. Let the breath come deep down into the lower belly. And exhale completely. Let that exhale be something where you're really deeply releasing the habit of non-appreciation. And let's take the knees and thighs up to vertical for a few moments. So there you are. Thighs can be 90, knees can be parallel, feet are parallel. Then cross your right ankle over your left knee and come back into the figure 4 pose. Now it's going to be a little different. Your hips are elevated and you've got this support by the side of the block. So you're getting like a massage, a little myofascial massage right there where the block is as you're stretching. Let's take the right hand between the two legs and hold the right shin or the right ankle. Left hand can hold the left hamstring behind the knee. And breathe into the right hip, right low belly. And let's exhale to release. What we're going to do is keep your right ankle on your left knee, please, and bring the left foot down to touch the floor. Press the right knee open. So here you've got this opportunity for the right hip to open away from the pelvis while keeping your hips level. And breathe in. Breathe out. And then place your right foot back on the floor. Pick up both knees. So shins can be parallel to the floor. Cross your left ankle over your right knee. Reach between with your left hand and arm. You can go around with your right hand. And return to the figure 4 pose. Now, of course, the blocks are providing a kind of myofascial opportunity. Why don't we say that? As you're breathing in and breathing out through the nose, think of it as an opportunity for the breath to be like a chaperone for the mind to visit the sensations of your body with appreciation. So this is not a chaperone like on the second grade trip where you feel like you're about to get in trouble all the time. This is not a chaperone with criticism. This is the breath as a chaperone of appreciation. Now keeping your left ankle on your right knee, let's touch the right foot down. And just as you're able to, press the left knee open away from your hips while keeping your hips level. Breathe into the pelvis and the lower belly. And then place your left foot back on the floor. Pick up your hips, slide the two blocks out. And as you lower the hips down, pick the legs out like a starfish, called starfish pose. Legs out, arms out. Notice the circulation going down from the hips and pelvis through your legs and towards your feet. Great. Now, let's bring the feet back up. You can put the two blocks so that they're within reach in case you need them. And bring both knees up to your chest. Open the right arm out to the side. We're going to take both knees down to the left. Now, where you might need a block is if your legs don't reach all the way to the floor, you can put a block there for your left shin. If you have the legs separate, you could put a block between the two knees. So you're going to keep the knees more like a unit together rather than having them get staggered. Sometimes putting that block between the knees gives you the extra support to bring the left shin down to the blocks. Let's take the left hand to the right knee. Hi, Nakula. Hi, Hammy. And then turn through your heart to the right. You can also rotate your head to the right. Hi, Nakula. Okay. Everyone is okay. You're watching out? So welcome the breath to find its way into the pelvis, which means we're not holding the tension of the body that would prevent the breath from dropping down. And one more breath in. And then exhale, and using the lower belly, raise your knees up to center. Touch your feet flat to the floor. Let's put the blocks at the ready for the other side in case you're going to need them. So open your left arm out to the side. I'm wondering where my cat is, so I don't run into him. Okay, bring your knees up to center. You might choose in preparation to put a block between the knees to get ready. And then as you come down, for some of you, it's going to make sense for the block to be medium. For others, it might be a block on the flat setting for the two knees to come down. Rotate your chest and heart to your left. And as you're turning the belly here to the left, rotate the lower belly, then your heart, and then your throat and your head. Breathing in, breathing out. Have to come down. Our pelvis is like the body gesture of appreciation, self-appreciation. On the exhale, we release the tension, the burdens, the obstacles, the hindrances. And we're going to use the next exhale to raise the knees up. Use the strength of the lower belly to come up to center. You could put the blocks aside if you were using them. And again, take the legs out to the starfish position. It's like a pose of surrender. Okay, and then we're going to bend both knees. One more time, please roll to your side. We'll come up to sitting for a few moments. When you come up to sit, if you had a hair clip, once again, you got to rearrange it. Watch out for hair clips in yoga. You know, they can be painful sometimes. So let's get this. Okay, I'd like us to have time for a restorative pose right now where we can really let the body soak in what we were doing. Look, now I have
I have like a pigtail standing up there. So take these two blankets that we had earlier, like this, and let's place them down the mat lengthwise. So one of the best yoga poses we have for the digestive and endocrine system is called Supta Baddha Konasana. And it's done like this. You sit in front of these two blankets, not on them. And the blankets are folded so they're a bit narrow, left to right, which means they're going to primarily support your spine. And when you lie back, the first thing to check is that you lie down and the blanket supports you at the top of the sacrum. And then you have this curve you can add for the top blanket directly under your neck. Right, so you're going to support the base of the skull, the cervical curve, the lumbar curve, and then the top of the sacrum. And we take the two blocks, place the blocks close enough to the pelvis and your knees that when you set the legs, you don't feel like there's a big inner thigh stretch. This should not be stretching the inner thighs because we're actually restoring. We're resting right now. Resting and integrating. For anybody who has a strong doer temperament, tell yourself you're not just resting, you're also integrating. So open the arms out to the side. We'll do palms face up. Let the eyes close. And let's imagine then again, if you were to draw from an inner wellspring of appreciation for yourself. Self-appreciation. Particularly if there's been a deficit of appreciation from people whom you do things for, people that you care for. Like I said earlier, like a kind of anemia, appreciation anemia. So right now, you can offer that appreciation to yourself. You can appreciate your efforts or your intentions. Also your intelligence. Appreciate your willingness. You can give appreciation to your vulnerability. As you imagine appreciation soaking in, the way water soaks in a sponge, let's also imagine the habits of inner criticism or shame kind of dissolving. They're washing away. And allowing the process to happen. Restorative yoga pose is not a pose of doing a lot, but you're resting and integrating. And allow the body to deeply relax. Soak in the art of self-appreciation. Sometimes we don't have a practice of relaxing. It can be helpful to touch the high points. For example, the places where we tend to carry the most stress. So practice softening right between your eyebrows. Imagine that softness flows over your forehead towards your temples and the corners of your eyes. If the corners of the eyes relax, let the eyes themselves rest more deeply in their sockets. Soften the place between your shoulder blades and across the front of the chest and the heart. And then consider deeply relaxing your hands, your thumbs, the fingers. Relax. As you relax the shoulders, upper back and chest, arms and hands, now start softening the solar plexus, the area of the diaphragm, and across your floating ribs. Down into relaxation, and the ease to come down into the abdomen. So we go slowly down through the system. We're actually tracing the vagus nerve pathway. So invite there to be deep ease in the lower belly, in the organs of the abdomen. Invite this ease to go down
into the hips, the hip joint, the sacrum, the pelvic base. Allowing that inner sense of ease all the way down to the sitting bones. Float the knees up to center. Stretch your legs out long on the mat. And as you do that, there's going to be a slight change of how your body experiences the blanket. You get a little bit of traction for the neck. Lift your head, take the blanket out and straighten it so that you come down and the chest and heart are a little more open. As you lay your head back, you're going to feel some circulation returning to the neck. It might feel a little bit warm, a little bit tingly. And put your block aside. And then roll down to your right or your left. I'm going to go left because of my furniture. And press down against the floor. Rise up to sit. We'll slide the stack of blankets back in. Return to your sitting position. And let's see how the world feels now, having had some yoga. Come into your seat. Rest your hands. Just trying it on that we've been in a place of refuge for the last hour. A time to bring in or to cultivate this appreciation, to overcome appreciation anemia, and also to practice setting aside the burdens or the obstacles. Well, body memory right now, the qualities of appreciation for yourself. Like the body can remember this feeling. For sure, our bodies remember what shame feels like. So let's try to remember, what does appreciation feel like? And with that as an option, let's bring the hands together at the heart. Thank you very much for dedicating to your practice and for sharing time. Namaste.